disappointing day considering. Were you outbatted by India? Did they put too many runs for the team to chase?
I think that's the game of cricket. If you don't score enough runs, you generally don't win the game. So, yeah, look, it was a big total for us, but we had confidence in our side that we could chase it. It's an outstanding batting wicket. Outfield was quick. It obviously slowed up a little bit with the rain, but yeah, credit has to go to India today. They put a big total on the board, and we just weren't able to stay with it for long enough. But the way that Brooke and Izzy batted, I thought it was exceptional and gave us a very small chance there. But yeah, look, today wasn't our day.
Would it have helped if entire 50 overs were available for you for the chase?
Sorry, once more?
Would it have helped if you had the entire 50 overs to chase?
Who knows? I think that's a really tough one, isn't it? I think I spoke in the pre-match press conference that you can only control what you can control, and today the weather, shock horror, played another part in one of our games, and who knows? I mean, to be honest, another 6 overs there, we probably still would have had to be chasing 360, 370. I've got no idea how Duckworth-Lewis works at all, but who knows? You just never know. The way that those two were batting out there, you always want to be in with a chance, but look, we weren't good enough today, so we just have to, suck that up.
Sophie, perhaps now is not the right time to ask it. Perhaps it's too soon in the immediate aftermath of the game, but your last ODI World Cup game you've just played. Looking back at it, how would you reflect and reminisce on your 50-over World Cup career? And looking at some of the performances from players like Plimmer and Izzy Gay's youngsters, are you confident that you have set the foundation for the youngsters to now thrive on for the next few years?
I'm not done just yet. We've got one more game versus England, so maybe just not quite done. But yeah, look, I don't really want to think too much about it because I probably get quite emotional around it, but the way those girls went out there today, I'm incredibly proud of where this team's going. When you think about the likes of Izzy, Brooke, Mealy Kerr, Eden Carson, the way that they're starting to really grow into themselves, it certainly makes it easy when I do step away after the next game, not before. But yeah, it is. It's sort of, I guess, a bit like a proud mother, aren't you? You sort of have been involved in this side and at New Zealand cricket for so long that you're so invested. So yeah, I'm sure I'm going to go through a few different emotions over the next couple of days, but yeah, we'll take time to reflect on that.
Hi, yesterday I asked you about India's record against New Zealand in World Cups, and you said, ask me after the match. So the records definitely didn't favor you today. And what, according to you, was the turning point of the match? Where do you think you lost the plot?
It's hard. After any win, you can dissect every single ball. I thought we were outstanding with the ball in the power play. I thought we put them under pressure and we were able to restrict them on a really good wicket. And we've seen that power plays have either been sort of bang or bust at this tournament. And look, I think it's always hard when you get a partnership of 200 plus. You're going to be under pressure, and I guess for the Indian lineup, they were able to come out and swing pretty freely and take the game on. And yeah, I guess at the end of the day, they probably got a few too many. It's hard to narrow it down because it was an excellent batting wicket. I thought 320, 330 was probably par score on that. Yeah, we dropped one or two chances in the outfield, but I thought our ground fielding was outstanding, and the way that certain bowlers, Susie today, she just continues to surprise you, even though she's 38 years old. What she was able to do with the ball today, and then with the bat, we spoke about that we needed to try and stay as close to the run rate as possible, and it's hard because it jumps so quickly here. So they're all learnings for us. It's frustrating and it's gutting and it's disappointing to lose any game of cricket, but especially, I guess, when we still had a chance of making it through to this World Cup, the semi-finals. So, yeah, I'm sure we'll reflect and review on this game, but we've got to get ourselves up for one more game against England.
Look on the result. But I know it's part of the job, but just in terms of going through the emotions of it, how challenging is it to front up and be positive when things are not going your way? You've done it for so long, and there's one more game to go. Just how do you do it?
I don't know. I don't know. I think the really important thing for me is to be authentic, and not just for me or my group, but for you guys as well. I think sometimes people forget that we're human beings and that we do have emotions. We're not just robots out there that go and play and don't have feelings, and we don't, feel the criticism, and we don't feel the hurt, the words that are said about us, expectations. At the end of the day, we all go back, we all sleep in a bed, we all, have families to go back to. So I think sometimes it's really important to remember that we're human beings, and sometimes words can hurt, but also we've got to own up to it. It's the profession we're in. Like you say, it's a job, and unfortunately, this right now is a bloody tough thing for me to have to do, but I also want to front up and, still be really proud of what this group's been able to achieve. But it does, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, it sucks. Losing press conferences are probably, the hardest ones to do, especially when you've been knocked out of a tournament. So, at the end of the day, there's not too much positive words I can probably say about it, unfortunately, but that is what it is.
Hi, Sophie. Maybe a positive question from me. Maybe, when you spoke about the youngsters out here today, but when you think about back home in the domestic setup, and what do you think about the depth the New Zealand squad has built, and also maybe how the domestic structure has improved in the last few years? What are your thoughts on it, and where do you see these bunch of girls going in the next few years, maybe before the next ODI World Cup?
Yeah, it is a sort of positive question, so thank you for that. Look, I am really excited, and it's taken a lot of time. I think that's something that we've got to be realistic about, is these things don't happen overnight. We're not like India, we don't have 1 billion people to be able to call upon. We're literally a small country at the bottom of the world with 5 million people, and unfortunately cricket isn't at the moment the number one sport, so we're always going to be fighting for the attention of youngsters coming through. But the opportunities, and I think that's what's really exciting as a selling point to any youngsters in New Zealand at the moment, and that's not just girls, it's boys as well, is that the opportunities that cricket presents to you should be really attractive. And I think we're starting to see it now as the depth is starting to grow, and it's going to be a continual process. Just because we've brought a few young players through doesn't mean it's job done. So there's still lots of work to do in terms of our domestic structure, in terms of our contracting system, providing opportunities. And it's not just, I've said it so many times, it's not just about the money. You can't just throw money at players and expect them to get better. It's the resources, it's the structure, it's the pathways leading into the White Ferns, because you can pay, the top 15, 20 players however much you want to. It doesn't mean that they're going to be good cricketers, and what happens when they all leave. So, I think that's the really exciting thing, but it's also the most challenging thing, is how do you build that? And every country's different. As I just said, you guys have got 1 billion people here, and how you work your domestic systems and structure is going to be very, very different to how we do it back in New Zealand. So I'm really excited about where the future of the women's game goes. The support, the attention that it's had over here is really exciting, and I think India can be at the forefront of where the women's game can go. I mean, we've obviously seen with the WPL and the level of interest in that. I certainly do wish I was 10, 15 years younger at the start of my career, but unfortunately I'm not. So, it is. It's really exciting times to see where the game can go to.
Please don't mind taking this back to the discussion back to the game, but just wanted to understand the whole thought process behind electing to bowl first, given the wicket was very flat. Runs on the board fasting, scoreboard pressure would have worked in favor of the team batting first, and you chose to bowl. In hindsight, is it something you probably would have changed?
It rained, didn't it? The game got altered. Everyone talks about in cricket with Duckworth-Lewis that you want to bat second so you know what you're chasing, and again, hindsight's a brilliant thing, isn't it? If we'd have won that game, would the same question have been asked? So, look, I think we had our reasons to. We obviously saw that the weather was going to come in at some stage. How much? Again, you can't control that, but I don't think we regret that decision. Look, we've known the troubles that India have had lately of chasing down totals, but yeah, it's a really hard one. In hindsight, maybe we should have batted first. I don't know. Would it have changed the result? I don't know. Sorry, that's not a very good answer, but you know, it is what it is. We can't change it, so yeah.
Sophie, just a question on the Indian front. You've actually seen Smriti Mandhana evolve as a batter. First played with her in the WPL for RCB. Can you talk to us, give us an insight into her work ethic if you've seen as to how she trains and how as an opponent you've seen her evolve in the last couple of years as a batter?
Geez, you wanted me to talk about an Indian player. This was the New Zealand press conference, wasn't it? But look, yeah, Smriti's an outstanding player. I think she's smashed so many records this year. Number of runs, hundreds, you know, and to think she's still pretty young as well. So, I mean, I'm glad I'm retiring so I don't have to deal with her and things like that. But, yeah, you know, you don't get to her level of skill without being an incredibly, you know, efficient trainer and knowing where her game needs to go and continue to develop. So, yeah, she's going to continue to get better and I'm going to just watch from the sideline and say good luck to whoever else has to play against her.
Hi, Sophie. Tough luck today. I want to put this on record that I noticed how slyly you reverse aged yourself from grandmas last year to a proud mother today. But, but just you've spoken so fondly of the pride of wearing this jersey and showcasing New Zealand women's cricket, New Zealand cricket, what it's all about. How difficult is it going to be to process this campaign after years of hard work? When you sit back and process the way it's ended, how it's ended.
I thought I was going to get through this press conference without crying, but it's tough, isn't it? Because I know I've spoken about the weather's followed us, jokes have been made about it. At the end of the day, you just want the opportunity to play cricket, and unfortunately, we had fate in our hands. We lost the first 2 games, put ourselves under pressure. We lost today. So it's hard to reflect when nearly half your games have had weather impacted by it, but we haven't been good enough, and that's really tough because the work that this group's put in over the last 12 months has been phenomenal, and that's what sucks about sports sometimes is you can work harder than anyone in the world. You can do all the right things, but it doesn't guarantee your results out there when it matters. So that's probably going to be the hardest pill to swallow about this campaign is I'm not sure what else we could have done as a group to be better prepared, to be fitter, to be more connected. I don't know, but we've got to dissect it and figure out where we went wrong and where we can improve, which, yeah, it does. It sucks. Do you know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, there's not much other ways to describe it. That the work that this group's put in, no one deserves anything, not just in cricket but in life. But yeah, sometimes you wish that the good guys, got the results sometimes, but not to be this time. So yeah, we'll pull ourselves up, we'll dust ourselves off, and we'll go bloody hard at these English people and give them a good run for their money, and hopefully we like everything out there on Sunday and we can leave with our heads held really high. Thanks guys.